I was wrongly accused of aita by my 13-years-old niece. My family cut me off, my GF walked, and I lost it all. But 6 months later the truth comes out and now they want to make peace? No way. I never thought a single accusation could shatter my entire life. But in less than 48 hours, everything I'd built vanished, and the person who destroyed it wasn't some stranger, but my own 13-year-old niece, Chloe. Before that nightmare began, at 38, I had what most people would call a great life. I was an accountant in Phoenix, Arizona, with a solid career trajectory. My girlfriend, Olivia, and I had been together 4 years, talking about rings and futures. I had a decent apartment, good friends, and a close family. My sister, Sophie, 4 years younger, had married young to Kevin, and they had Chloe when Sophie was just 21. Sophie and I had always been tight, leaning on each other after our parents split. I'd been the fun uncle, buying Chloe books, taking her to comic stores when her parents fought, which was often because Kevin drank too much and had a temper. Sophie stayed for Chloe, a choice I'd argued with her about countless times. The accusation hit on a Friday evening in March. I was at Sophie's for dinner, just like every other week. Olivia couldn't make it. Kevin was out of town, making the evening unusually calm. Chloe was quieter than usual, barely touching her spaghetti, excusing herself early. Sophie and I cleaned up, chatting about her dental office job, my upcoming promotion, whether Olivia and I would finally get engaged. Everything felt normal. I left around 9, drove home, watched TV, and went to bed, thinking what a perfectly unremarkable night it had been. Saturday morning, 6:30 a.m., my phone exploded. It was Sophie, screaming before I even got it to my ear. How could you? How could you do that to her? To my daughter? I bolted upright. Olivia stirred beside me, confused. Sophie, what are you talking about? The words that followed slammed into me. Chloe told me everything. What you did last night. You're sick. Disgusting. I'm calling the police. My stomach dropped. I thought I might actually throw up. What? Sophie, what did she say? I didn't do anything. Her voice was pure ice. She said you came into her room after I went to the bathroom. She said you touched her. Don't you dare lie to me. Olivia was fully awake, staring at me, her eyes wide with a mix of horror and confusion. I couldn't breathe. That's not true. That didn't happen. I never went near her room, Sophie, please. You have to believe me. Her next words were a final, brutal blow. I never want to see you again. Don't call me. Don't come near my house. If you try to contact Chloe, I will make sure you rot in prison. She hung up. My hand shook so violently I nearly dropped the phone. When I finally managed to tell Olivia, her face drained of color. That's insane, she said. You were only there like 3 hours. You came straight home. But I saw it, that tiny flicker of doubt in her eyes, a seed that would quickly grow into an unbridgeable chasm. The police arrived Sunday afternoon. 2 detectives, Davies and Lee, asked to come in. I let them, thinking that's what innocent people do. I believed if I just explained, they'd understand. I told them the truth: dinner, talk, clean up, leave. Never Chloe's room. Never an inappropriate touch. Never anything wrong. Detective Davies took notes, his expression chilling, like he'd already judged me guilty. Detective Lee, while seemingly more neutral, kept circling back, asking the same questions, trying to trip me up. Did you go upstairs at all? No. Did you use the bathroom? Yes, the one downstairs. Did you see Chloe after dinner? Only when she waved goodnight from the stairs. My hands sweated. Every instinct screamed, get a lawyer. But I was terrified it would make me look guilty. So I agreed to go to the station. The interview lasted 3 hours, recorded, every word a potential trap. They asked about my relationship with Chloe, if I'd ever been alone with her, noticed anything different. Each answer felt twisted, interpreted through a lens of my assumed guilt. They didn't arrest me, just said the investigation was ongoing, don't leave town. I returned to my apartment to find Olivia packing. I think I should stay at my sister's place for a few days, she mumbled, avoiding my gaze. Jess, you know me. You know I would never, I know, she cut me off, I just need space to process this. It's a lot. She left that evening, taking more than a few days' worth of clothes. By Monday, everyone knew. Sophie had told Mom, who told Dad, who told his new wife, who told her kids. My phone exploded. Most messages were from family, shocked and disappointed. A few friends asked if the rumors were true. The worst was from Mom, I raised you better than this. I don't know who you are anymore. She wouldn't answer my calls. Dad picked up, listened to my denials for 30 seconds, then said, Sophie has no reason to lie. Chloe has no reason to lie. Maybe you need help. Then he hung up. My younger cousin, Maya, always close, sent one text, stay away from my kids. The isolation was suffocating. Within a week, I was cut off from almost everyone. A few said they believed me but couldn't be seen supporting me because of optics. My best friend, Noah, called 4 days in. We'd been roommates, best men, knew each other's deepest secrets. I thought, finally, someone. Man, this is heavy, he said, I'm here for you. Relief flooded me. Thank you, you have no idea. But I gotta be honest, Ethan. My wife's pregnant, a daughter, and she's really uncomfortable with me staying in contact right now. Just until this whole thing gets cleared up, you know? The relief curdled. Noah, you've known me 12 years. I know, bro. And I believe you. But Stephanie is hormonal and scared. I can't have this stress on her. Once everything blows over and you're cleared, we'll grab beers, laugh about this whole mess. Just give it some time. He never called again, even after the truth came out. Once everything blows over was just a polite way to cut me loose forever. My neighbors, with whom I'd exchanged pleasantries for years, started crossing the street. Mrs. Kim from 3B, who I'd helped with groceries countless times, looked right through me. The elderly couple in 2A, who always invited me to their barbecue, had their grandson change their locks and install a security camera aimed directly at my door. I ordered groceries online. Going to the pharmacy for sleeping pills my doctor prescribed meant facing a pharmacist's undisguised disgust. I walked out without them. Olivia called 5 days later, crying. I can't do this. I want to believe you, but everyone says you're guilty, and my family thinks I'm crazy for even hesitating. I can't be with someone under investigation for this. I'm sorry. For years. Marriage, kids, growing old together. Gone, because other people told her to doubt me. Work was next. HR called me Wednesday that first week. They'd heard. Administrative leave, paid, but the message was clear, stay away. I spent my days alone, refreshing my phone, waiting for detectives who'd seized my laptop and phone, searching for evidence that didn't exist. Every interaction felt hostile, like they were building a case, not seeking truth. 2 weeks in, my landlord informed me other tenants had complained. A petition was circulating to evict me. He said he couldn't legally act on an accusation, but I was unwelcome. The petition was online, in a neighborhood Facebook group, 47 signatures, comments worse. I have a daughter on the same floor. Why are we waiting for a conviction? Better safe than sorry. I printed it. I needed proof this nightmare was real. People I'd lived peacefully beside for years had become a mob, based on gossip. It joined my folder of destruction, police reports, lawyers' notes, hateful messages. Work didn't just put me on leave, they erased me. Nameplate gone, email revoked, access to shared drives denied. Daniel, a friend from work, sent a cold text, HR told us not to contact you. Sorry, man. Years of shared projects, lunches, complaints, reduced to a 2-sentence dismissal. Finances quickly became a crushing weight. Paid leave was 60% salary. Legal fees devoured my $15,000 savings in 2 months. I maxed out credit cards to cover rent. Olivia's departure meant I covered all shared expenses alone: car, utilities, insurance. I stopped eating out, lived on rice, beans, canned goods. I lost weight, not just from stress, but from hunger. Hate mail arrived. Someone spray-painted Predator on my car. The irony of filing a police report about it wasn't lost on me. The lowest point came a month in. 2 a.m., sleepless, scrolling social media, even though I knew better. A local community group post named me, warned parents. Hundreds of shares, vicious comments, lock him up. Chemical castration. I closed the app, sitting in the dark. Was this my life now? Would I always be labeled a predator, even without conviction? I thought of Chloe. Why? Had I done something? The worst part was the doubt creeping into my own mind. I questioned my memories of that night, even though I knew nothing happened. Did I go upstairs? No. Say anything misinterpreted? No. But the constant accusations made me question reality itself. Late at night, exhausted, desperate, I'd wonder if something had happened that I'd blocked out. That's what constant gaslighting does. Everyone insisting I was guilty made me question my own sanity. I'd replay the evening, frame by frame, every word, every movement, searching for an explanation. I filled a notebook with timelines, details, proof of my impossibility. Sophie was in the kitchen with me almost constantly. There was a 5-minute window when she went upstairs for her phone. 5 minutes. Chloe's room was down the hall. The stairs creaked. Sophie would have heard me. It was physically impossible given the house layout. But logic didn't matter. Facts didn't matter. All that mattered was a tearful 13-year-old girl claiming I harmed her. In today's climate, that was enough for a public conviction. The legal system needed evidence, due process. The social justice system needed only an accusation and a pitchfork-ready crowd. I had nightmares of being on trial, everyone I knew pointing, chanting guilty. I'd wake up gasping, drenched, and for a few seconds, forget. Then reality crashed down. Olivia's things were still in my apartment: a toothbrush, a drawer of clothes, shoes. I couldn't pack them. It felt like admitting it was truly over. Some nights I'd text her, begging her to talk, to believe me. She stopped responding. My lawyer, hired after the police interview, urged patience. The investigation would run its course, and without physical evidence, it would close. Likely wasn't a guarantee. Every day felt like a day stolen. I lost 20 pounds, stopped showering regularly, had panic attacks at the sound of sirens. My apartment became a prison. Going outside meant facing stares, whispers. Then, 6 months after my life exploded, my lawyer called. His voice was lighter, almost excited. "Ethan, you need to sit down." My heart pounded. What happened? Chloe recanted. She admitted she made it up. The words didn't make sense. Repeat that. She told a school counselor yesterday that she lied. None of it happened. The police interviewed her this morning. She confirmed the accusation was false. The investigation is closed. You're clear. I should have felt relief. Vindication. Instead, I felt white-hot rage. My hands shook, vision blurred. All I could think of were those 6 months of hell. Why? I finally choked out. Why did she do it? Apparently, she'd overheard her parents talking divorce. She thought if she created a big enough crisis, they'd focus on that instead and stay together. She picked me because she thought I'd eventually forgive her, being her uncle. The counselor's notes indicated severe anxiety and guilt. A 13-year-old had destroyed my entire life because she wanted her parents to stop fighting. My lawyer kept talking about next steps, defamation claims, but I wasn't listening. I hung up and stared at the wall. Over the next few days, the news spread as viciously as the accusation, but those who'd condemned me were noticeably quieter. A few sent terse texts, glad it got sorted out. Sorry for what you went through. Generic, impersonal. Insufficient. Mom called. Ethan, honey, we need to talk. What's there to talk about? I know you're angry, but Chloe is just a child. She made a mistake. She's been in therapy. Sophie says she's devastated. Devastated? Mom, do you have any idea what the last 6 months have been like? I know it was hard. Hard? I lost my job, my girlfriend, my family. People spray-painted my car, sent me death threats. I thought about ending it all more than once. And you all believed her without giving me a chance. There was a long silence. We had to protect Chloe. You understand that, right? We couldn't risk, you didn't have to risk anything. You could have believed your own son. You could have at least listened to me. Please don't be like this. Families make mistakes. We can move past this. I laughed. It sounded bitter. Move past this? Mom, you told me you didn't know who I was anymore. You chose to believe I was a child abuser over believing I was innocent. That's not something you just move past. Ethan, I hung up. Sophie tried to visit. I saw her through the peephole and didn't answer. She knocked for 10 minutes, calling my name, saying she needed to apologize. I sat on the floor, my back against the door, listening to her cry, and felt nothing. She left a 4-page handwritten letter, full of apologies, explanations. She believed Chloe because she was her daughter, and because Sophie herself was a survivor and always vowed to believe victims. She understood if I couldn't forgive her but hoped we could rebuild. Chloe was in intensive therapy, genuinely remorseful. I burned the letter in my kitchen sink. Dad emailed, asking to get dinner and talk. I deleted it without responding. Maya texted, I'm so sorry, Ethan. I should have trusted you. Can we talk? I blocked her number. Olivia showed up 3 weeks after the recantation. She looked nervous, fidgeting with her purse strap. Can I come in? Why? Because I miss you. Because I made a horrible mistake. Because I want to apologize. Apologize for what, exactly? For not standing by you, for believing everyone else instead of trusting what I knew about you. I was scared and confused, and I made the wrong choice. But we can start over. I still love you. I looked at her, the woman I'd planned a future with, and felt absolutely nothing. You left me when I needed you most. You believed I was capable of harming a child. That's not something you come back from, Olivia. People make mistakes when they're scared. I was scared too. Terrified and alone, and you abandoned me. You don't get to come back now that it's convenient. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Get out. She left, crying. I closed the door and went back to my empty apartment. My former employer reached out, offering my job back, full back pay. HR's formal letter framed it as if they'd protected my privacy. I sent a one-line email, I quit. I wasn't going back to a place that threw me away the second things got difficult, to sit in meetings with people who whispered, who assumed my guilt without evidence. The truth is, I could have fought for my old life. Accepted apologies, rebuilt relationships. Taken Olivia back, returned to my job, pretended the last 6 months never happened. But I didn't want that life anymore. Those people showed me who they were when things got hard. Their love and loyalty were conditional. They were willing to believe the worst, to discard me the moment I became inconvenient or scary. My lawyer helped me file a civil suit against Sophie and Kevin for defamation and emotional distress. It wasn't about money, I knew they didn't have much. It was about having a legal document stating what happened was wrong, that I was innocent, that they had harmed me. It settled out of court for a modest amount. Sophie had to sell her car. I felt neither good nor bad about it. I moved to a different state, got a new job where no one knew my history, started seeing a trauma therapist. Slowly, painfully, I began rebuilding a life. But it wasn't the same. I was different now, harder, more guarded, less trusting. I learned that people who claim to love you can turn in an instant. Accusations can destroy you, even false ones. Forgiveness isn't mandatory, and reconciliation isn't always the right choice. Texts and emails from my family continued for months. Mom sent long messages about forgiveness, healing, how life was too short for grudges. Dad called on my birthday, left an awkward voicemail, singing, like everything could just go back to normal. Sophie sent holiday cards with pictures of Chloe, who was doing better in therapy. I read them all. I never responded. A year after everything fell apart, Maya found my new address. She sent a package, a framed photo from a childhood family reunion, us grinning, ice cream on our faces. A note read, "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I miss my cousin. I'm sorry I failed you." I kept the photo. I still didn't respond. My therapist once asked if I'd ever consider reconciling. "Holding on to anger can be exhausting," she said gently. "Sometimes forgiveness is for ourselves, not for the people who hurt us." "I'm not holding on to anger," I told her. "I'm just choosing not to have them in my life." "There's a difference." She nodded slowly. "There is, but you need to be honest with yourself about which one you're doing." I thought about it for weeks. Was I punishing them or protecting myself? Vindictive or setting boundaries? In the end, it didn't matter. They made their choice when they believed I was guilty without evidence. I was making mine by refusing to let them back in. Chloe turned 16 last month. Sophie messaged, saying Chloe wanted to apologize in person. Her therapist thought it would help her healing. She'd written a letter but wanted to read it face to face. I didn't respond. I did think about Chloe. A scared, desperate kid who made a terrible choice. She'd hurt me more than anyone, destroyed everything I built. But she was 13 and struggling. Part of me understood that. Part of me even felt sorry for her. But that didn't mean I owed her forgiveness. It didn't mean I needed to be part of her healing journey. She'd have to live with what she did, just as I had to live with what happened to me. Maybe someday I'll change my mind. Maybe the anger will fade enough for a conversation with Mom, or Maya, or even Sophie. Maybe I'll listen to Chloe's apology and tell her I forgive her. But today isn't that day. Today, I'm living my life on my terms, surrounded by people who chose to believe in me, who earned my trust, who showed up when things got hard. I have a girlfriend now, Sarah. She knows everything, and she chose me anyway. I have new friends who see me for who I am, not who I was accused of being. My old family wants reconciliation. They want forgiveness, second chances, a return to the way things were. They want me to understand they were protecting Chloe, that they made mistakes out of fear, that families stick together. But here's what they don't understand: I did stick together through hard times. I maintained my innocence. I cooperated. I waited for the truth. They're the ones who abandoned ship the second things got scary. They're the ones who decided I was guilty without trial. They're the ones who have to live with that choice. I'm the one who decides if they deserve a place in my new life. So far, the answer is no. And honestly, I'm okay with that. Some bridges, once burned, aren't meant to be rebuilt. Some relationships, once broken, can't be fixed with apologies and time. Some wounds leave scars that change who you are forever. I'm not the same Ethan Miller I was before the accusation. That person died somewhere in those 6 months of hell, abandoned by everyone who claimed to love him. The person I am now is stronger, more cautious, less willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that makes me harder, colder, less forgiving than I should be. But it also makes me someone who knows his worth, who refuses conditional love, who won't let people back in just because they've decided they're ready to stop treating him like a monster. My family wants reconciliation. They can want it all they want. What would you have done if your family abandoned you?